You are walking blindfolded into a financial slaughterhouse. The passive income machines on your timeline won't make you rich. They will bankrupt you. But hidden at the very end of this video is Machine 30, a secret device that legally prints money by manipulating human psychology. Watch closely. Look closely at your social media feed today. Beneath the flashy aesthetics, the towering stacks of cardboard delivery boxes, and the grinning gurus promising you a life of effortless wealth, there is a quiet, brutal financial massacre taking place. They are selling you a beautifully packaged poison. The delusion that buying a piece of hardware will magically unlock a floodgate of passive income. They whisper the ultimate modern lie, telling you to just buy the machine, plug it in, and count the cash while you sleep. I have watched good, hard-working people walk straight into this financial slaughterhouse, completely blind to the fact that they are purchasing their own economic grave. At Money Glow Up 02, mến chào quý vị và các bạn. Before we pull back the curtain on this toxic wasteland and show you the exact blueprint to survive it, I need you to hit that subscribe button to support the channel, giving me the drive and energy to keep exposing the unvarnished truth in our future videos. Now, let me tell you the story of Alex. Alex is not just a statistic. His story is a reflection of almost everyone watching this who wants a way out of the rat race. He saw a 60-second video, felt that desperate, intoxicating rush of hope for a better life, and maxed out his only credit card on a commercial 3D printer. He truly believed he was destined to be the next titan of e-commerce, churning out plastic trinkets to an eager world. But what those gurus conveniently left out of their shiny tutorials was the suffocating reality of a liquidity blood clot. Alex never calculated the devastating international shipping fees, the ruthless import tariffs, the exorbitant cost of specialized filament, or the harsh reality that his machine required a heavily modified, dedicated ventilation system just to operate safely. Within 3 short months, the dream was dead. Alex was drowning, choking on the very debt that was supposed to set him free. His sales were nothing but a tragic dead cat bounce, a handful of pity purchases from a mother and a best friend, followed by a deafening, agonizing silence. That machine, his beacon of financial freedom, mutated into a cannibalizing asset. It sat idle in the corner of his room, gathering dust in the dark, slowly eating away his monthly cash flow through compounding credit card interest. Then there is Daniel. Daniel survived and thrived because he realized the ultimate truth of this game. He did not buy a machine. Daniel bought a hyper-specific niche ecosystem. Long before a single dollar ever left his checking account, Daniel walked into the offices of 3 local, high-end real estate brokerages. He did not pitch a laser engraver, he pitched prestige and client retention. He pre-sold an exclusive line of customized, laser-engraved leather portfolios, commanding a 50% upfront deposit from every single broker before manufacturing a single item. He used their money, their liquidity, to finance the exact piece of equipment he needed. Daniel understood the unforgiving law of micro-manufacturing. He knew deep down that the machine is merely a dumb, lifeless piece of metal, and that your customer base is your actual beating pulse. Without a predefined, desperate buyer ready to open their wallet, your equipment is nothing more than expensive garbage weighing down your floorboards. Today, we are going to completely dismantle the 30 most misunderstood cash-generating machines on the market. We will look at this entire industry through the unforgiving lens of ruthless profitability and unyielding logic. I'm going to show you exactly how to navigate around the lethal game of hidden costs, teaching you how to build a resilient enterprise that thrives on calculated, cold margins rather than fleeting internet hope. And if you have the endurance to stay with me until the very end, I will reveal machine number 30. It is not just a piece of hardware. It is the ultimate secret weapon that fundamentally alters the perceived value of everything it touches, transforming cheap commodities into undeniable, high-margin luxury. To truly understand how to win in this brutal arena, we must first walk through the digital graveyard of broken promises, examining the first 10 machines that are currently saturating your timeline with the false hope of easy consumer wealth. The internet loves a visual spectacle, and nothing creates a better viral time-lapse than the crafting and direct-to-consumer machines. The vinyl cutters, the mug presses, the resin 3D printers, the desktop DTG apparel printers, and the seemingly innocuous sticker makers. You watch a 30-second clip of a blank t-shirt transforming into a vibrant, custom piece of streetwear, and your brain instantly calculates the math.
You think, if I can print 10 shirts an hour at a $20 profit, I will be rich by December. This is the exact psychological trap that claims thousands of victims every single day. Let us look at the direct-to-garment, or DTG printer, often heralded as the holy grail of the modern clothing brand. What the influencer flashing their sports car does not reveal is that a DTG printer is essentially a temperamental, high-maintenance infant. If you do not run that machine every single day, the white ink, which is laced with heavy titanium dioxide, will settle, coagulate, and completely destroy a printhead that costs thousands of dollars to replace. Your profit margins are instantly vaporized by a single weekend of inactivity. You are not buying a passive asset. You are adopting a fragile, unforgiving liability that demands your constant attention just to survive its own mechanical flaws. Then we have the vending machines and automated kiosks, numbers 6 through 10 on our list, sold as the ultimate absentee business. The pitch is always the same. Secure a location, stock it with cheap snacks or electronics, and collect your quarters while you vacation in Bali. But the reality is a grim war of attrition. You are stepping into a fiercely territorial mafia of established vendors who have locked down every profitable square foot of real estate in your zip code. You are left begging low-foot traffic laundromats and obscure tire shops to host your machine. Soon, you realize your entire week is consumed by driving a depreciating minivan across town in rush-hour traffic, desperately trying to unjam a crumpled dollar bill from the acceptor, only to find that your inventory of chocolate bars melted because the shop owner turned off the air conditioning over the weekend. Even the beloved desktop laser engravers and craft cutting machines fall into this fatal trap. Because the barrier to entry is so incredibly low, everyone and their mother owns one. You are immediately thrust into a race to the bottom on Etsy, competing against thousands of identical shops willing to sell customized keychains for pennies just to get a dopamine hit from a notification. It is an economic bloodbath where the only real winners are the corporations manufacturing the raw materials and the platforms charging you listing fees. The fatal flaw uniting these first 10 machines is their reliance on the B2C, business-to-consumer model in an oversaturated market. You are fighting for the discretionary income of exhausted consumers who are already feeling the crush of inflation. You are spending 80% of your time marketing, creating TikToks, and begging for attention rather than actually producing value. This is not a business. It is a desperate plea for relevance disguised as a hustle. To survive, we have to entirely abandon the vanity of consumer crafts and step into the unglamorous, dirt-covered world where real, sustainable money is hiding in plain sight. Yet, once you step away from the flashy, plastic world of internet aesthetics, you find the gritty, unglamorous machines where the actual, quiet wealth is being systematically built.
Machines 11 through 20 are the blue-collar workhorses, the commercial hot water pressure washers, the high-capacity carpet extractors, the heavy-duty industrial sewing machines, the key duplicators, and the CNC wood routers. These machines will never go viral on social media because there is absolutely nothing sexy about them. They are loud, they are dirty, they take up entirely too much space, and they demand actual, back-breaking sweat equity to operate. But what they lack in aesthetic appeal, they make up for in absolute, undeniable economic leverage. Consider the commercial hot water pressure washer. A standard cold water unit from a big box store might clean a suburban driveway, but a heavy-duty, trailer-mounted hot water skid unit is a completely different financial instrument. It melts away decades of commercial grease, gum, and industrial runoff. The person who buys this machine is not looking for a quick sale to a teenager on the internet. They are securing recurring, legally binding maintenance contracts with fast food franchises, bank branches, and property management firms. These corporate entities do not care about your branding or your slick website. They care about compliance, safety, and reliability. When a massive restaurant chain is facing a health code violation because of grease buildup in their drive-through lane, they are not price shopping on a Saturday night. They are writing a blank check to whoever has the machine capable of solving their million-dollar liability by Monday morning. This is the profound shift from B2C to B2B, business to business. Machines in this category, like the industrial CNC router, operate on the exact same principle. A hobbyist buys a small carving machine to make cute wooden signs for craft fairs, spending hours haggling over a $40 sale. The quiet professional buys a 4x8-foot industrial CNC router and walks straight into custom cabinet shops, independent boat builders, and architectural firms. They offer to mass-produce precision-cut components that these businesses desperately need to fulfill their own high-paying contracts. You become the invisible backbone of someone else's lucrative enterprise. When you hold the machine that clears the bottleneck for a business owner making $10,000 a week, your invoice becomes a sacred, non-negotiable operating expense. The same logic applies to the commercial carpet extractor or the heavy-duty walking foot sewing machine. The sewing machine isn't for making bespoke dresses. It is for repairing heavy marine canvas, commercial awnings, and tactical gear. It thrives in the realm of necessity, not desire. People will delay buying a customized mug forever, but a marina owner cannot delay fixing a torn boat cover when a winter storm is approaching. These machines force you to look at the world differently. You stop looking at what people want to buy for fun, and you start looking for the painful, expensive friction points in local industries. You start hunting for dirt, damage, inefficiency, and wear and tear. You realize that true financial stability is forged in the fires of utility. You are trading sweat and time, yes, but you are trading it at a premium, insulated from the fickle trends of consumer behavior. However, as profitable as these sweat equity machines are, there is a physical limit to how many hours you can work before your body breaks down. Which brings us to the next evolution of machine-based leverage. When you finally graduate from trading your physical sweat for dollars, you enter the sophisticated realm of specialized monopolies, where the right machine does not just do a job, it creates an entirely captive market. Machines 21 through 29 represent the heavy artillery of the micro-manufacturing world. The fiber lasers for industrial metal marking, the drone thermal imaging rigs, the commercial freeze dryers, the UV flatbed printers, and the automated ultrasonic cleaning tanks. These are pieces of hardware with steep learning curves and intimidating upfront costs, which is exactly why they are absolute gold mines. The high barrier to entry acts as a massive concrete wall, keeping the dabblers, the hobbyists, and the weekend warriors entirely out of your territory. Take the UV flatbed printer, for example. Unlike a standard printer that puts ink on paper, a UV printer cures liquid polymer ink instantly with ultraviolet light, allowing you to print high-resolution, full-color graphics directly onto golf balls, glass, acrylic, metal, and even leather.
You are no longer selling a graphic. You are selling the ability to instantly brand physical reality. A corporate client does not want 5 custom mugs. They want 1,000 branded power banks for a global tech conference next week. Because you have the industrial capacity to fulfill that massive order in a single afternoon, you command absolute pricing authority. You are dealing with corporate marketing budgets, where money is viewed merely as fuel to generate impressions. They do not flinch at a $10,000 invoice because it is already allocated in their quarterly spend. Or consider the commercial freeze dryer. The internet might tell you to freeze dry candy for novelty TikTok views, but the ruthless entrepreneur uses that exact same machine to service the high-end agricultural and culinary markets. They partner with organic farmers to preserve seasonal, highly perishable crops at peak nutritional value, turning rotting summer strawberries into ultra-premium, shelf-stable powder sold to high-end bakeries and supplement brands year-round. They solve the terrifying problem of inventory loss for the farmer, creating a devastatingly profitable synergy. The drone thermal imaging rig operates on a similar frequency of high-stakes problem-solving. You are not flying a camera to take pretty pictures of a wedding. You are flying an infrared sensor over acres of commercial solar panels or massive industrial roofing systems. A tiny microscopic fracture in a solar cell or a hidden moisture pocket under a commercial roof can cost a corporation hundreds of thousands of dollars in lost efficiency or structural damage. By flying your machine for 20 minutes, you deliver a precise heat map that identifies the exact point of failure. You are essentially printing a treasure map for their maintenance crews. Your fee is astronomically high, but compared to the catastrophic loss they would face without your data, your service is considered a massive bargain. In this category, your machine is a surgical instrument. You are diagnosing and curing severe economic pain for wealthy entities. The secret here is that the machine itself rarely changes hands. It is the highly specialized proprietary data, product, or service that the machine yields that becomes your impenetrable moat. You are no longer hustling for individual sales. You are establishing long-term contractual relationships with clients who view you as an irreplaceable asset to their own survival. You have finally insulated yourself from both consumer fatigue and physical exhaustion. But even in this elite tier of business, you are still ultimately bound by the limits of supply and demand, which is why we must now unveil the final, undisputed king of this entire landscape. But every machine we have discussed so far, from the dirt-stained power washers to the high-tech fiber lasers, pales in comparison to the ultimate leverage point. The one piece of hardware that completely bypasses competition by rewriting the fundamental rules of human psychology. We have finally arrived at machine number 30, the machine I promised you. It does not clean, it does not manufacture from scratch, and it does not capture data. Machine 30 is a commercial-grade hot foil stamping and custom luxury packaging press. To the untrained eye, it is just a heavy block of heated metal and pneumatic pressure. But to those who understand the dark arts of human commerce, it is a literal license to print money
through the sheer alchemy of perceived value. Let me explain the terrifying power of this machine. Imagine a basic, high-quality bar of artisanal soap. If you wrap that soap in a standard recycled paper band, it is a commodity. It sits on a shelf at a local market, fighting for its life, priced at a meager $4. The customer looks at it, calculates the cost of the ingredients in their head, and decides if they want to part with their spare change. Now, take that exact same $4 bar of soap, place it inside a thick, matte black, soft-touch, rigid box. Bring down the heated brass die of machine 30 and press a gleaming, razor-sharp, 24-karat gold foil crest deeply into the lid of that box. You haven't changed the soap. You haven't improved the product's actual utility by a single fraction. Yet, the moment a customer picks up that heavy, textured, gold-stamped box, their brain instantly misfires. They are no longer buying soap. They are buying an experience, a status symbol, a piece of accessible luxury. That $4 commodity has just been transformed into a $35 high-end gifting item. The profit margin did not increase by pennies, it expanded by multiples, entirely defying the logic of the raw materials inside. This is the profound secret that the world's most luxurious brands, from Rolex to Chanel, have known for a century. People do not pay for the product, they pay for how the product makes them feel. And nothing dictates feeling faster than the tactile weight and visual dominance of elite packaging. With Machine 30, you do not even need to create your own products to become incredibly wealthy. You become the secret weapon for every other struggling business in your city. You walk into a local high-end bakery that is barely surviving selling $15 fruitcakes in cheap plastic clamshells. You show them a mock-up of their cake in a velvet-lined, silver-foiled presentation box, allowing them to instantly raise their price to $60 and position themselves as an exclusive corporate gift. You take a local coffee roaster's ordinary bags and stamp them with holographic foils, pushing them from the bottom shelf of the grocery store into the elite boutique market. You are selling the most intoxicating drug in the business world: absolute brand elevation. This machine forces us to realize that the brutal financial massacre taking place on social media is entirely avoidable if you simply refuse to play by their rules. The victims are drowning because they are trying to sell logic and utility to consumers who are bored and broke. The victors, the ones quietly building empires in the shadows, understand that wealth is generated by altering perception. As you look out at the landscape of side hustles and automated income streams, remember the tragedy of Alex and the triumph of Daniel. Do not buy a machine because a guru told you it was easy. Buy a machine because you have identified a desperate B2B problem, or because you have found a way to inject undeniable luxury into a commoditized world. The machines are out there, waiting in the dark, entirely indifferent to your success or failure. It is entirely up to you whether you plug them in to build a graveyard of debt or an empire of leverage. In the ruthless arena of modern entrepreneurship, success is rarely found in the flashy, oversaturated world of viral B2C crafting machines. As we have seen, those popular devices often lead to a graveyard of debt, pitting you against thousands in a race to the bottom for the pennies of exhausted consumers. The true path to sustainable wealth demands a radical shift in perspective, stepping out of the limelight and into the lucrative, unglamorous realm of B2B problem-solving. Whether it is trading sweat equity with heavy-duty commercial pressure washers to secure legally binding maintenance contracts, or deploying high-barrier micro-niche monopolies like UV flatbed printers and drone thermal imaging to cure severe economic pain for corporate entities, the secret lies in becoming an indispensable asset to someone else's lucrative enterprise. However, the ultimate leverage transcends pure utility.
Machine 30, the commercial-grade hot foil stamping press, reveals the most powerful truth of human commerce. Wealth is ultimately generated by altering perception. By mastering the alchemy of perceived value, you can transform basic commodities into elite luxury experiences, commanding absolute pricing authority without changing the product itself. The machines themselves are entirely indifferent tools. It is your strategic positioning that dictates the outcome. You must choose to abandon the desperate hustle of internet trends, ignore the viral illusions of easy money, and instead harness the profound power of B2B leverage, absolute utility, and human psychology to build a resilient, uncompromising empire in the shadows. The deepest lesson here is that true financial leverage is not about working harder to sell trivial wants to the masses. It is about strategically positioning yourself to solve high-stakes problems or master the psychology of perceived value. We are conditioned to chase aesthetics and viral validation, but real wealth is built in the shadows of utility and exclusivity. To apply this to your life right now, audit your current career, side hustle, or business ideas. Ask yourself, am I fighting for a $10 consumer sale, or am I capable of solving a $10,000 problem for a business? You must immediately shift your focus. Look for the painful, expensive friction points in your local industries that business owners are desperate to fix. Alternatively, look at what you already offer and find a way to package it into a premium, high-status experience. Stop selling cheap logic to a crowded room and start selling indispensable relief or undeniable prestige to those who actually have the capital to reward you. If you had to start building your empire tomorrow, which path would you choose? The unglamorous sweat equity workhorses, the high-tech micro-niche monopolies, or the psychology of luxury packaging? Please share your thoughts in the comments below. I would love for us all to read and learn from each other's perspectives. If you found value in this deep dive, please hit that subscribe button. Your support truly gives us the motivation to keep researching and creating more high-quality, hard-hitting content for you in the future.